What's up, y'all? It's just Risky, and I'm back with another video, y'all. No, I'm just kidding. But we're gonna be reacting to some more law and crime sidebar video. Another one. You know, like the last one, I might skip through some of the stuff I don't care about or really want to hear. And if y'all want to watch the full video, you know where to find it, okay? And I always put the link in the description of the videos in the description below anyways. So anyways, y'all, on this video, they talking about Ricky Martin and his Incest, what rhymes with Incest claim. NASCAR dude that got stabbed to death in Kobe Bryant's lawsuit, even though he gone.
Could Ricky Martin?
Also, one more thing. I'm eating my nuts, so if y'all see me eating something, that's what I'm eating. Shut up, dirty-minded folks.
Spend years in prison over incest allegations? I'm joined by former sex crimes prosecutor Kathleen Bogenschutz. Plus, the man suspected of killing NASCAR driver Bobby East was a felon and out on parole. Could this have been prevented, and what will the investigations uncover? Retired Police Sergeant Melissa Pinkleton discusses. And LA County accuses a man who lost his wife and daughter in the helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant and his daughter of riding the coattails of Vanessa Bryant's lawsuit. Is that fair? Long Crime Zone, Allura Nanos breaks it down. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. It is now being reported that Latin musician Ricky Martin is facing incest accusations by his very own nephew. This bombshell allegation coming from Spanish publication Marca, and this comes after a domestic violence restraining order was filed against the Living La Vida Loca singer in Puerto Rico. Now, we didn't know who the accuser was until now. And according to Martin's 21-year-old nephew,
Goddamn flying her.
Dennis Yadiel Sanchez, he and Martin had an incestuous relationship that lasted 7
Nephew? Please tell me that's a lie. Please tell. I knew he was gay in the first place, but that's not the point. The point is your nephew. That's your sister or brother's. I'm talking spitting. I'm sorry. I'm eating. I don't got the lid. The point is, that's your sister or brother's son. And you had, I don't know if he really did, because these are allegations. But, y'all, if he did, that's nasty. He 100% had to have held this boy as a baby.
Months. It was one in which Martin abused him, and the complaint further claims that when things ended between the two, Martin kept on trying to get in touch with his nephew and allegedly loitered outside of his nephew's home. Now, what's interesting here is that, as we reported on a previous Sidebar episode, Martin was hit with a $3 million lawsuit by his ex-manager for unpaid fees, and she claimed that she had dirt on Martin. She claimed this included a, quote, potentially career-ending allegation. While it's not clear if this was in reference to this incest claim, it does make you wonder. A hearing on this case is set for July 21st. I'm joined now by criminal defense attorney Kathleen Bogenschutz, who served as a sex crime prosecutor for years. Kathleen, great to have you here on Sidebar.
Good to see you.
All right, so I don't know if you're an expert on Puerto Rican law, but when it comes to, my understanding is Puerto Rico is very strict with their incest laws, and there have been reports that if this goes further, and if he's charged, and if he's ultimately convicted, he could spend decades behind bars. What do you know about this?
So the first question I have is when the alleged relationship happened. Was the nephew over 18 at the time? Is it possible that it started when he was under 18? That might be its own crime in and of itself.
Bro, that's nasty. Lord have mercy. Not only, I know it's just, accusations, but if he really did, let's say he did have a relationship with his nephew while his nephew was under the age of 18. That is disgusting. Even if it's over the age of 18, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Disgusting.
Based on the age difference between the two. Now, the incest allegation, it would appear just from a cursory lookup that I did that he might qualify as a third-degree relative under under Puerto Rican law, and that might fall under that statute. That also brings into the question that, defines sex, and obviously these are both men. So oftentimes in sex bat statutes or sexual battery statutes, you will have that it needs to be penetration, not to get gross on your viewers, but there would have to be some kind of allegation that actually occurred as opposed to some sort of romantic relationship.
So I think it's important to know that it's not as if Ricky Martin and his camp have remained silent, because according to TMZ, Ricky Martin's attorney, Marty Singer, says, quote, "Unfortunately, the person who made this claim is struggling with deep mental health challenges. Ricky Martin has, of course, never been and would never be involved in any kind of sexual or romantic relationship with his nephew. And Ricky Martin himself, on July 4th, denied these allegations on Twitter. He said, quote, "The protection order entered against me is based on completely false allegations. So I will respond through the judicial process with the facts and the dignity that characterizes me. Because it is an ongoing legal matter, I cannot make deep..."
We don't know if he really did or not, but if I was let's say he really did it, that's disgusting and that's crazy. But also, you gotta think about it. It be your own family sometimes. It be your own family who be doing this elaborate ass to put you down or anything like that. Because you could do the smallest thing, or you could do something that they don't like. And then they could be the one to put you down because it happens a lot. You could ask any family. No family is that close-knit. They always have at least one person that is always negative and conniving is
detailed statements at this time. I am grateful for the countless messages of solidarity, and I receive them with all of my heart. What do you make of that response?
I think that
ignore it.
It's expected. I would really doubt that he would respond with, "Yes, I definitely did that. Sorry."
Well, I didn't think that either, but I mean, he could have remained silent, but they're categorically saying that this nephew is a liar.
And has mental health issues, which doesn't necessarily make him a liar. It just might be information that he's privy to as his uncle in order to just...
But then again, you gotta think about it this way too. Like, he was probably his nephew. Like, if this really did happen, like if Ricky really did do that, then he could be like, he could have been scared for years to say anything because he knows that his uncle is like this big guy. Like, he's a singer and a lot of people know who he is and everything, and he has all this money and everything. So he could have been scared to say it. But then again, if he didn't do it, his nephew, like I said, he could just be trying to get back at him for something. He could be mad at him, or he could have just came up with a lie to somebody else, and then he trying to cover it up by actually doing because he's full of pride and don't want to admit that he lied. That's possible.
Credit him. I'd be interested in what the rest of the family has to say. And I think his brother made a statement too, right?
Well, his brother was the one who revealed the identity of the accuser, saying it's the nephew. Now, I am curious, as I mentioned before, his ex-manager, in her lawsuit against Ricky Martin, said, she's got a potentially career-ending allegation against him. She helped him through this. She basically was trying to keep it secret for him. I'm not sure if it's about this, but I wonder if it is, and if it is, what role she could play.
Well, I mean, if she's the one who released it and it was some sort of a ploy to gain money from him, she could have criminal charges pending against her for some kind of an extortion scheme. But I mean, the truth is always a defense in that, if you're trying to extort money from someone who's a rapist, it's still extortion. It just might be treated differently by the prosecutors.
So let's just take a step back, because we know that there's going to be a hearing on this on July 21st. It's not as if Ricky Martin is facing criminal charges at this point. This was part of a domestic violence restraining order. What do you expect to happen at this July 21st hearing, and how is this going to progress?
So generally the way that things occur in criminal, when there's these overlapping criminal and domestic violence cases, sometimes the injunction will come first. That the person files for the injunction.
That is radical. I'm gonna fast forward, y'all.
Sad news out in Orange County, California. Former NASCAR driver Robert Bobby East was stabbed to death at a gas station. The suspect was identified as Trent William Millsap, who, after fleeing the scene, was gunned down by police 2 days later in a standoff at an apartment complex. Investigations into both the shooting and the stabbings are underway. Now, no motive has been revealed as of yet for the stabbing. But here's the thing. Millsap was apparently out on parole for armed.
That man was mad because he was watching NASCAR with his burr. He was his burr, and he beat. I don't know how is NASCAR racing. Is that what NASCAR is? Racing cars going around and around and around and around and around and around in racing. That's what it is. Okay, that's race. Okay, NASCAR is racing. I know. Okay, so he was mad because he was sitting in front of the TV with his. He was sitting in front of the TV watching NASCAR with his burr, and he didn't like the fact that he beat his favorite racer. That's what happened. You heard it here first. I'm just kidding. That's not what happened. I don't know what happened. Don't take my word for it. I'm obviously slow. I will say that louder into the speaker. I am slow.
Armed robbery and had an outstanding warrant for his arrest on a different parole violation. So now the question is, how did this happen? I'm joined right now by Melissa Pinkleton, a retired sergeant from the...
Hey, Pinkleton, bro. Hey, I like your last name. Pinkleton. I'm not laughing.
Nashville Police Department. Melissa, good to see you, and welcome to Sidebar.
Hi, good to see you too.
Pinkleton. Oh, Pinkleton, not Pickleton. I don't like it no more. I'm fast and forward. I'm going through your blam, 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 blam. Oh my God, blam, blam. I'm not going through it. Yeah, I kind of want to hear what she got to say. Hold on.
Question is, how does this happen? Is that what you're asking me?
I mean, something's not adding up for me. This is a guy who had a record. He was on parole for armed robbery. He has this warrant for his arrest. What's going on here? Because it seems like this could have been stopped.
And it could have. What the problem is, we have an epic breakdown and a huge failure in the bail system in our country. And I know when I say that, you hear a lot of people talking in the mainstream lately about, oh, bail reform. And what they're referring to is, you shouldn't be held on $1 million bail for a small amount of drugs. And that got so out of control, just like recently in New York City when somebody got caught with 1.2 million or billion pounds of drugs, they got released. So the problem is that when we do apply bail to the right people, we're not following up with those people and rearresting them for breaking their bail and bond conditions. This has been going on for years. This has been going on in every single state.
So you mean to tell me that this man was on parole and everything? He wasn't even he wasn't even supposed to be out there or nothing, and he got to this man and killed him because y'all wasn't doing y'all's job? Ridiculous. Inconceivably blam. You know what I'm saying? And look at me trying to use big words. Inconceivably, unbelievably ridiculous. Yeah, 3 of them in a row, yo. Sure, y'all thought y'all was talking. Y'all thought y'all was messing with a slow person, just a little bit. Man, if you don't... Damn, she talk a lot. Hey, y'all. What y'all doing?
January 2020 helicopter crash that killed several people, including NBA star Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. Now, Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant's widow and mother of Gianna, and Christopher Chester, whose wife and 13-year-old daughter were killed as well, they have sued LA County, and they're accusing it of improperly sharing graphic photos of the crash. Now, both lawsuits allege that first responders shared images of the crash with multiple sheriff's deputies and allowing these pictures to be really released on personal cell phones and later to become a source of gossip within their department. So this is a really, really disturbing case. But right now, Los Angeles County has asked a federal judge to separate Vanessa Bryant's lawsuit from Chester's suit. And the county says that Christopher Chester should not be permitted to, quote, ride Bryant's coattails by consolidating his case with Vanessa Bryant's. Well, to make sense of this, I'm joined right now with Allura Nanos, who's a trial analyst and columnist for Law and Crime. And Allura actually wrote a great article on this major development. Allura, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on to Sidebar.
Thanks, Jesse. It's so great to be here with you.
You know, it feels like a very harsh thing for the LA County to say they're riding the coattails of Vanessa Bryant's lawsuit. Is that a fair argument to make?
Well, I agree that it sort of sounds harsh if you don't have any context. But to be perfectly fair to LA County here, all throughout this lawsuit, at every opportunity, the county has spared no chance to make sure that they say this is a terribly tragic accident and that they understand that the emotions are very high here. But what they're trying to do is separate the fact that we have one plaintiff, Vanessa Bryant, who has very specific, unique circumstances relevant to her case, in that Kobe Bryant was a major celebrity. Christopher Chester, who has another parallel, very similar lawsuit, just doesn't have that same aspect to his case. So the county is making an argument that I think it has to make, which is you can't put these two cases together because they're not really the same.
But were there pictures improperly taken of his family that were disseminated?
So LA County has admitted that at least some pictures were in fact taken by sheriff's deputies and first responders. They were shared internally among people in the department. And we know of at least one incident where a sheriff's deputy, I think it was a deputy in training, took that picture and showed it to a bartender, apparently to sort of impress that person that the deputy had been at the crash scene. And there's actually surveillance footage of the deputy doing that. Now, to what extent other people in the department have taken or shared pictures is kind of still up for debate because we're not in the fact-finding part yet. We're still in discovery. This is all pre-trial.
They need to just, that would have irritated the hell out of me. You can't, because that was a traumatic as hell, and it had to be, obviously it was 100 times more traumatic for him because it was his wife and his daughter in the crash, and this man takes a picture. This little boy, we're not even going to call him a man, this little boy takes a picture. See, they need to do better with who they hire to be cops and stuff nowadays, because they need to bring back training. They need to go through school or something, because just hiring them is not it. Like, for real, like, this little boy takes a picture of the crash and of these people in the crash, and then shares it. That would have, no.
So the county has admitted at least some wrongdoing, but it has always maintained that those pictures have not circulated farther than the few people that they've already admitted.
You know what's sad about this, Laura, is we're talking about human lives and we're talking about celebrity and non-celebrities, and there feels like there's this distinction, right? And it's not so much as if the LA County is saying one life matters more than the other, but again, it's purely about the photos and what was taken and what was it shared by. But they also make this argument that I thought was interesting when I was reading your article about the emotional distress and how the emotional distress that was suffered is different. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so a big part of this case, and it's important, as you noted, to remember that this is not a case about negligence about the plane crash. This is only about the wrongdoing as far as sharing any photos. And Vanessa Bryant is claiming emotional distress based on having pictures of her deceased loved ones shared around for gossip purposes and things like that. And you could certainly...
There was something that was put out. I don't know if this was like a photo or something, or what, or if somebody just like said it, or if it, I don't even know if it's even true, but they said that Kobe and Bryant were like hugging, like they were still hugging, like when they found their bodies, they were still like hugging and everything. So that's how I don't know if it's true or not, and I'm gonna actually look that up after this video is over. I'm gonna look that up and I'm gonna see if I'm right, and and once I do that, I'm gonna put it in the description if what I find out.
Imagine how that would be extremely upsetting. But of course, the emotion behind something like that is going to be very different when we're talking about a celebrity where there's tremendous public interest in every single aspect of the case, tremendous potential for those pictures to get shared and gossiped and talked about, versus someone who is an unknown. And what emotional distress Vanessa Bryant has in fact suffered as a result of any wrongdoing is critical to the case, because that is what she would ultimately be compensated for if she...
In my opinion, if they were both in the same plane and the plane crashed with all of them in it, and they took pictures of not only Kobe and Brianna, but they also took picture of this man's wife and his daughter, then he should be able to piggyback off of hers. He should be able to piggyback. That doesn't look right. He should be able to piggyback off of what's her face is. I don't remember his wife's name, but it's fine. I mean, they said it like 50,000 times, but I have bad memory. But he should be able to piggyback off of that, because it's the same situation with the same plane, and just because she is more known and Kobe was more known than the other two, it doesn't mean like the other two, like the dude's wife and daughter, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't get the recognition that they should be getting it. Like, they should put the thing together. Yeah, that's my opinion. I don't, obviously I stutter a lot. Y'all be okay. I don't know. I only stutter when I'm on here or when I'm nervous. I'm not nervous, by the way, but yeah, I just stutter when I'm on here. I don't know why.
Prevails. So we need to know just how upset is she, and what's really difficult here is separating. Well, of course she's upset because her loved ones died in a plane crash. It's very difficult to tease out how much of her emotional distress is due to the crash versus how much is due to any wrongdoing with these photos. It's going to be very difficult to tease out where is that distress, and how do you figure out how much of the distress comes from one thing versus another thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a fly trying to get in my nut. Shut up. No.
The answer to that. Do you think that ultimately what's going to happen is these cases will be separated, and maybe Vanessa Bryant's lawsuit goes forward and Chester's doesn't?
So the cases are already separated, and Chester is asking for them to be consolidated because so many of the facts are the same or at least similar. So the court is going to rule on whether they get to be consolidated. And LA County opposes that. We have not seen in paper yet from Vanessa Bryant, so we don't know what's going to happen. But my guess is that the court is not going to consolidate them. Now, I think Chester's case could absolutely still go forward, but I think
that's booty. Tell me what y'all think about that in the video below. If y'all want me to continue reacting to these type of videos, god damn it, there's a fly. Anyways, y'all, ignore it. This is my outro, damn raggedy 45 mother fly. Anyway, listen, thank y'all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.